Table Talk is not your typical D&D TTRPG podcast. We are not here to run you through our whole campaign.
We're here to talk about everything else in the space of tabletop roleplay.
I'm your host, Alejandra Wilhelm.
And I'm also your host, Mariah Gresham.
And we're your tabletop roleplay girlies.
Alrighty, and we are live with another episode of Table Talk. Thank you so much for joining us yet again. I'm your host, Alejandra.
And I'm your other host, Mariah.
And we are joined by a very special guest, a very dear friend that we frequent the space and also video games with.
Yes.
Go forth and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Chris. You can find me everywhere at TendtomyFlames, except for Twitch. I am Vindorsa there.
Mm-hmm.
Twitch and Discord. I do actual plays on a lot of different channels. I don't have my own channel or anything. I'm just kind of all over the place. I do record a podcast called The Voice Boys with ADH Druids, where we talk about voice acting and mental health. And that is like all of our subjects packed into one.
Incredible.
And that's my introduction. That's me.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. I wanted to start with, I want to do this new little thing with our guests where I want to learn what got you into the hobby and like what your kind of journey looks like with TTRPGs.
What got me into TTRPG?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So
give me the lore. Give me the crypt lore.
What was your gateway drug? What hooked you?
My gateway was just learning about it at a store in Batesville, Arkansas called The Round Table, which is, you would later find out, is a little unsavory of a place. It's not great. But it was a gaming store. They would do like tabletop stuff and card games and everything. And I was, I think 13 or 14 whenever I first went in there. And I was always fascinated by like action figures and the miniatures and stuff like that. So I was like, that was like the draw for me, was the physical stuff.
The minis.
And I remember a friend of mine was going to play at a game at the Round Table, and he invited me to come with him. And his older brother was DMing. So I felt like I knew enough people that I would get into it. And I did. I loved it. It was the lamest fucking game that I could think of, but it was enough. It was enough to like pull me into where I was like, this
to like bite you.
Yeah. This could be a really cool thing. And over the years, I think in my teen years, it was one of those things I was always fascinated by it, but I never got a chance to really play it.
I feel like that
growing up.
I was the same.
Yeah. And then I finally started actually playing it. I think I was 21, whenever me and my brothers found a guy locally who lived right down the road from me who DM'd regularly. And we started going to his table, which was just chaos because it was like 12 people every time we would go over.
Oh, no.
But it was enough.
Both
it was
great
so much
and
fun.
horrific.
It was horrific, but it was so much fun.
Horrific for like a combat management perspective.
Yeah.
Like we
Oh,
just did our
finale.
Yeah, that's great. That's just improv. That's just improv with a bunch of friends. But yeah, from like a combat perspective, that would be wild to manage.
Combat never lasted long because one of the players was like the most insane metagamer, and he somehow would always go first round and kill everything. I don't know. It was
like that. This is my ultra dark superhero lore
Super edge
with the two big like berserk swords I
dual wield two
souls.
berserk swords, and don't ask how I do it.
Yeah.
Like I am him,
oh, we started
me.
the game at level 1, but also I have this Gatling cannon in the back of my carriage that can fire off 150 rounds in the first round.
Dad is
we are level 1.
My dad is actually
invisible and cannot be hit. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. We've all been there. No hate.
Because I'm the chosen one. You know, it's part of my back.
I've made a pact with the devil.
The devil's my dad.
The devil's my dad, and he said that I can call him and he'll kill everyone for me.
Me
and I get the credit.
Me and our Fadar being like, the Baba Yaga is my mom. I don't know what you want.
Hey, you know what? We needed your mom because we were getting our shit rocked.
We did need my mom.
In the end of that fight, we did real well, and then it went sideways.
Yeah, no, we just did a finale for Fade Eclipse and stuff. And so when you mentioned 12 players, me and Mariah.
That is how many we had.
That is how many we had. We were both clutching our pearls because our combat lasted 2 rounds, and it took us from the moment we started the stream at like what 7, 6?
Yeah.
And
7 for the finale.
7 for the finale. And then we did not stop until like 12:45.
Yeah.
And it was
wow.
I was just putting my head, we're on stream. Like, this is a stream. I am being recorded. I was just putting my head down at periods because I'm like, I'm so tired. And I do have work that I have to be up for.
And that is also with us, honestly, being extremely efficient with our turns.
Yeah, we weren't like dicking about. Like, that was with some pretty measured, like, we took 1 10-minute break. Like, we kind of,
everybody's like doing the most with their turn. I summoned a goddamn tsunami in the first go because I was like, we're just gonna take care of as much as possible as quickly as possible. And thank
I
fuck
almost
for that
killed
tsunami.
a giant in mine 1 turn, and then another like our monk finished her off. Like, yeah, but it's like that were the longest rounds of combat in the West. So like I don't have ADHD, but I never feel more like I do than when I'm like waiting in long combat rounds where I'm just, it's 8.
Your mind's like, I would rather be anywhere else. And then it's your turn and you're like, shit, I forgot what I'm supposed to do.
That's a great metaphor for ADHD because it's like 6 seconds. The rounds are 6 seconds.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That makes me kind of nostalgic though for the way that playing D&D used to be, because that's how we used to play. We would play like these in-person games. After all that chaos, shortly after that, we started playing ourselves. My brothers started putting together campaigns, and we would take turns GMing. Jerma, everyone knows him as Gumby Dingo. He DM'd the most. We would go over to his house. He had a big conference table. We slowly collected all of the dice and all of the gadgets, and all
of the financial burden that comes with the hobby.
All of the dice trays.
All the little dudes. You're like,
all the little diddly doodads.
Fit a lot of guys on this conference table.
I'm pretty confident in saying that our youngest brother, he at one point put together, we were doing the Descent into Avernus campaign. 5e. Super fun campaign, by the way, if you like D&D and also Mad Max, because that kind of shit happens
reading
in
up
that.
A lot of it because devils and shit are very relevant in our campaign right now.
Yeah, the war machines and everything is super cool, just out of pocket. Just a sudden thing like, oh, by the way, you're in this Mad Max universe called Avernus.
Yeah.
Hell yes. If you touch this goo, you get a random mutation. I think Trey actually played in that campaign, and he kept touching the goo until he got every mutation. So we were just curious.
You just become Venom. You're like, I'm all symbiote, baby.
Yeah.
But I think for that campaign, he bought like all of the amenities that were available for it, which is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not,
just
insane amount of money
that could fit.
Yeah.
We built a table for that campaign. We built our own gaming table because we were like, we're going to get so into this. We did.
Yeah, we've just recently upgraded to like having, like one of our friends just happened to have a spare TV. And so I built a stand for Mariah's dining table. So now we can have the TV be our D&D like map. And I can just start using all these like digital maps that I've collected over the years.
Yeah.
And that's been a nice little upgrade that has given me much serotonin.
And like Ollie and I are plotting to like make a DM screen that has like screens on the inside and like a screen on like a screen of screens, if you will.
Because I'm an all digital DM. Like I don't really do paper stuff.
I also really don't. I need to get my shit together for VTM and actually convert I need to make character sheets for my 9 million NPCs and stop just fucking winging it, because at some point that's going to bite me in the ass. It hasn't happened yet, but my day of reckoning is coming and I need to have sheets before it arrives. So what I usually do is I have the character sheets in my like lab, which is also incredibly chaotic, and I need to stop doing that. But when I manage to find it, like come up with an Excel template that doesn't make my eyes bleed for that,
I have a bricked up dream of having a DM screen with those like portable monitors that you can just kind of slot in, and then I can just kind of plug in my laptop to that and have 3 monitors set up.
Giga monitor.
With this,
like when I worked in the office, there was one of our guy, like when I did QA testing, one of our developers, he had like a vertical stack of 6 monitors into 1 giga monitor that just all projected, like it was just one big boy. They all just blended together. And I'm like, that's something. I don't know where he got all those monitors, and that's not my business. But it brought him joy. And I'm like, hey, he also had like his laptop and just another loose monitor on the side in addition to giga monitor.
That's insane. I'm fairly new to playing digitally. Just only in like the last couple years have I started. I had never played online until 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and that is like, how I met Aaron. Actually, was at that game. Yeah.
I definitely.
Our home games are all in person.
But like all our home games are in person.
Yeah, but like our digital stuff, we've done a good bit of digital stuff for like
guessing on APs and
guessing with through the podcast. So I used to play in online campaigns, and like life got too busy and I kind of had to stop. And I know like Ollie still plays in some. It's very different for me than playing in person.
I like both.
I like both. I like there are like benefits to both, but I didn't think it would feel as different as it does, if that makes sense. It might also depend on like what I would be interested to try to play like VTM online, because I feel like that might feel less different to me, because it's just improv really, and sometimes you like swing a claw somebody's way. That may feel different than like D&D, where it's more crunchy and there's more things to distract me.
We're gearing up. We're getting ready to bring back Philly by Night.
Oh, are you? Yeah. Aaron has like teased me with like, do you want to come on and be a guest? I'm like, don't play with me. I also need to add Aaron to my like little, I call it my Primogen Council. It's essentially the same thing as Ollie has for her like DM advisory board for the campaign. So like, I'll add that because I actually didn't know if like she was going to be able to keep running Philly by Night. And I'm like, I'll add you to our shenanigans if you want me to.
We're trying to
be in like your VTM council.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we're trying to gear back up. We're trying to.
Incredible.
Yeah, I have one campaign that has been ongoing still, like every other Wednesday online, but I definitely prefer in person as much as possible. But I do love like guesting on other APs virtually, because those are always really fun. And then I was actually talking to Aaron the other day about like a harebrained idea I had for like a cute little TTRPG one shot that is like an episode of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and like the DM is like, whatever the one shot is, and then the players are both as characters actively trying to like gain favor and rizz up the DM in some way, shape, or form and gain advantage that way. But also the DM is like, I'm kind of vibing with this character, and you might win like a little virtual date after or something. And I was like, that would be cute.
I think that's a great idea.
Right? I'm like, everybody jokes about like D&D being like, it's just an excuse to flirt with your friends. And I'm like, well, do it with your chest.
Yeah. Just do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
Let's improv growing on a weird group date.
Yeah.
Or like a 2-on-1 date.
Yeah. And compete about it.
Yeah.
I'm still workshopping it, but I think that would be very fun.
That sounds like a really fun game.
Yeah.
Anything where like it's all RP, I'm all over it.
Same.
Yeah, same. That's my thing. Like combat's fun and I like using my character's abilities, but my attention span for RP is infinitely longer than mine is for combat.
Yeah.
It's just, and it's not for not liking combat. It's just my brain.
Yeah. I do like combat probably a little more than you do, but like there are times whenever I just don't like when it goes on for so long that it's like
Yes.
the entire session is just combat. Like
Yeah.
I need it to be broken up a little bit.
Yeah. Like, it's like, let's like, we fight a couple things and then we like role play a little bit and then we fight a few more things. And
Yeah.
you gotta like, and it's not like 5 hours of rounds of getting fucked by monsters and not in a fun way.
And nothing's
in a way
worse
of
than doing
you're
like
gonna die.
so many rounds of combat and you're rolling like dog shit. And you're like, well, my character does dick all for the entire combat.
Like, I've had games where I've just like had my head down. I'm just like throwing the dice up there. I'm like, whatever happens, happens. I don't even care anymore. Killer, just let it stop.
And me.
Combat is so much more entertaining whenever you can add like those elements of roleplay, though.
Yes. Totally.
I love it when people add like their little flavors to everything that they do. Like that's what as a DM, if I'm telling a story, that's what I want people to do.
Yeah.
It's like just fucking go crazy with it.
Yeah.
Make it cool as fuck, dude.
I think the thing that I like, because like I'm especially like still technically like a first time DM. Like our home game is still my first ever and only campaign that I've ever run. And so the growth spurt into figuring combat out because I very much leaned heavy on role play. But then I was like, okay, these characters are leveling up and I do need to give them opportunities to like flex a little bit. And then also like during arc finales of each character, like I want there to be big combats where they get to pop off with all the new like levels they've earned and all the stuff. So the first combat that I ran was like Mariah's character. And when I was shitting bricks because I was like planning a dungeon and planning where all the enemies are and like, is this hard enough? Is it not hard enough? But I think the thing that I've like figured out that I love that I feel like makes combat a little bit more engaging is providing like alternate things that they need to get done aside from just beat all the guys in the room. So it like kind of shifts the priorities a little bit and creates like an interesting dynamic of like, okay, yeah, there are people that we need to kill, but also like if we don't take care of this other thing, bad shit's gonna happen. And like,
you need to find something or
manage like
solve
who
a
goes
puzzle
where in order to accomplish that in time. And I was like, this feels good, and it felt very well received. And now it's like I feel like all my combats are gonna have a little element of that. Of like, yeah, there's guys you gotta beat, but there's also like maybe 2 or 3 different things that like may pop off in 3 or 4 rounds if you don't take care of it.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I like that. That adds an interesting element.
Yeah. Or add something. I had someone give me a tip that I really liked where it was like at the beginning of a combat, like roll a couple of D4s and decide like those are going to be the amount of rounds that go by when something's going to shift the battlefield a little. Whether that's like, I don't know, like a piece of the floor falls out or, you know, like something else comes into the room or like a magical effect starts taking on and like just changes everything that's going on within the space.
Yeah.
Kind of keep it interesting. So it's not just like, all right, there's like 3 nulls left in this.
Just hacking and flashing. Yeah.
We're just trying to chug along through it. And I was like, I really loved that little tip.
I like that.
That's a great tip. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to use that. Yeah. I like that.
That's all D&D is. We're all stealing from each other, and I'm like,
everyone's stealing ideas. We were literally talking before this, and I told you straight up, it's the Empire from Star Wars.
Yeah, and
that's the bad guy. You know?
For sure. Another thing I wanted to touch on because you've mentioned, but like you do a little bit of voice acting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, one for me, and like I know for Mariah, and also like I think generally a lot of femme presenting people that are coming into the space, that is like one of the most intimidating aspects of joining the hobby because like predominantly it's always hard. It's hard, and it's been like a male dominated space, and so the only examples you have are like men doing voices, and then like the thought of me doing like a masculine presenting voice in a character feels goofy to me. But then
which, by the way, Ollie your voice does go that low. Mine doesn't, bitch. Yours, you have the depth of registrar that if you decide you're gonna like get a little spicy and get down there, you can.
Well,
I
that
do not.
sounds awesome. I want to hear that.
It's my dominating voice.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all right.
My players enjoy it. But yeah.
Ollie also like will pull that shit out sometimes in VTM, and I'm meant to be playing like a scary NPC or something, and the personality split between I'm like, I Mariah need a fucking minute to because I'm like the because I don't have that. I like for the character would not be super affected. I am so like
yeah. But even for me, like it going into like things like accents or stuff like that, like that's always it's still to this day pretty intimidating. I try to do it a little bit, but I can't say anything sticks. And I'm like, I just preface at my table. I'm like, if the accent goes south, we're not going to talk about it.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
Look, accents are fucking hard.
Yeah.
First of all, like you can't just like easily just whip out an accent and keep it going. So if I'm going to give advice as to what I do, I don't think it's going to be good advice, because what I do is I practice the fuck out of it to the extent that in VTM I play a big scary vampire named Artem Morozov, and he is a gang rule from Krasnoyarsk in Russia.
Yes. Yes.
And
yes.
The way that I practiced his accent, I did it to the extent that I like learned a lot of basic Russian.
And for like
so
the
now,
tongue
like
placement and things like that.
I hyper fixated on how I was going to talk as that character for like a week before I ever even played that character.
That's
so,
fair.
You know, I don't feel like that's great advice, because it shouldn't be that serious. That's just what I do.
But it
I'm
works,
like,
though.
I want this
Can you
to be
do that?
perfect.
Can you do that for more than one voice at a time, though? Or is it like you're like, so like, I'll use an example. I have our friend Kay, our editor, hi Kay, also has like a guest PC, which is something that I kind of pitched to Aaron of like, make a character. If you ever come and play VTM with us, you can play them. But like you come up with their backstory and like we co-create the vampire baby, basically. Which if you want to be nosing in our server, I will also happily add you. But Kay's character, Anastasia, has a club. Anastasia has an antebellum Southern accent. It is a Fall of London game. It is set in London. So most of the NPCs have my terrible generic British accent, like posh British accent. And there's Anastasia with an antebellum Southern accent. There's another character, Teonan, who has a Cajun Creole accent. All of those characters talk to each other. So I'm in hell anytime we go there, because I'm having to go from like, hello, Cher, darling. I can't make my brain do the fucking, it's like that. And I get stuck in, especially because like the Cajun accent, because my grandma was Cajun, I will get stuck in like a motherfucker. And so half the time I'll try to switch an accent and it's a bastardization of the other two, and it's so rough.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Doing that for more than one character, like switching back and forth between accents, I would much rather do an accent and then the other character have my accent. And that's probably what I would typically do. And a lot of things that you can do for like changing up your character is like changing the cadence of the way that you talk.
Yes. Or like we do a lot of like physical act, like position and pace of the voice and like gestures and stuff will help a lot especially if you're in person. You can still do it on streams, but like, because you're just kind of a torso, you have a little less of the physicality. But yeah, that's like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. But it is mental fucking gymnastics, because I've been like, well, I can do all three of these accents. So come hell or high water, I guess we're gonna do it.
Yeah. There's been probably only like a handful of times where I've actually tried a little bit of an accent. Like I introduced Kay's character as like a tavern, and like Kay has always played that character. I love including like my friends' characters into the world of like past things that we've done and just making that canon. And so I have her character in there. I know what her character normally sounds like. And so I tried to do just the most bastardized, like Scottish Irish accent I could possibly muster. And I was like, I don't think that thing stuck for 2 seconds before I was like, we need to get out of this tavern. I can't. I can't.
That's also a hard act to do,
can't.
at least for me.
What is the accent? I missed that part.
It was like Scottish, Irish, kind
Like a
of.
Gaelic.
Yeah,
kind
that
of.
is like the hardest shit. The way that I got into, I can't do a Scottish accent right now on demand. I have to like warm that shit up.
Yeah.
But like the way that I warm it up, I do have a method for
Like
the
a
Scottish
phrase
accent.
that gets you in it.
It's not even a phrase. I have to look it up every time time I do it, but it will get you into it. And for those who know, the Scotsman from Samurai Jack.
Yep.
Mhm.
There is a scene where he does like this 14 second insult towards Samurai Jack.
Okay.
And everything, he mixes like Celtic with like English insults. And I read that off and do my best to like copy his accent. And that will like get you right into it.
Yeah, I think
Just go read that insult. Someone has the whole insult and the definitions of the words that he's saying listed on Reddit. It's the first thing that pops up when you Google it. It's a great way to get into the Scottish accent for me, anyways.
I think I literally, before that session where I knew Kay's character was going to like pop in, I was on the phone with Kay and be like, hey, walk me through it like a 5. And so we were literally on a Discord call and she's teaching me how to do an Irish accent and like the pronunciations and things. And I'm like, I'm going to do my fucking best, but we're not going to stay in tavern for very long.
Yeah, I feel like one of my
Irish
ancestors is going to come slap me if I do that.
Yeah.
Irish is even
fuck
harder for me.
Yeah.
I think Scottish is a little easier because I have a low kind of aggressive voice.
It's kind
Scottish
of
is
raspy
easier.
and rumbly.
Yeah. Irish is a little lighter, you know?
Yes.
It's like
and
lilty.
for some reason that's harder for me. Yeah, lilty is a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah. But like it is like you said, like the thing that got me over that like hump of like I need to do voices, I need to do accents and things like that was mostly watching, like being exposed to other like femme presenting DMs and seeing like how they did it. And like, yeah, like the inflection or body language does so much at the table. And I know both as a player, like when I'm at Mariah's table, I don't fucking notice the fact that you're like switching between accents or not or whatever. Like it doesn't even register. So then I try to keep that in like my prefrontal lobe and be like, my players are not caring whether I'm keeping this accent or not. And I'm just going to focus on the inflection or like, like the range of my voice a little bit, like the things that I can control to add a little bit of definition and difference to the different NPCs that are all talking to each other in a room.
As long as you're telling a cool story, that's all that fucking matters, honestly. The accent stuff is fun, you know, and I think that's why most of us do it, right? Is just because it's fun. It can I guess it can kind of like add to the immersion. Yeah. But whenever you're playing the game, you kind of get immersed anyways.
Yeah.
If you're playing it right.
If you care about the story,
you go into like a whole different headspace anyway. And like those things kind of become secondary. And like I used to put a lot of importance on it though, because of like the reason I got really hooked on the hobby was because I had played at a table before that was like ass. It was the worst. Players that didn't give a shit about what was going on. And I was like the only one invested, to a table like the one that I met Mariah at. And like everybody was like, one, super in character. Two, like some people were doing voices and accents and things. And like that was the first time I experienced that. And I was like, okay, that like bit the bug in my brain. And I was like, I wanted so much to create that for someone else, like at my table. And so I was like, but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. And also at the table, the DM and other people that, not people we play with today, but other people, if you dropped your accent, they would give you shit about it.
Yeah.
And in the game.
Oh, that's lame. Yeah, fuck that. That's super lame.
So, yeah. Which was really why none of us ran anything until we left that. Because we were like, I'd be fucked if I'm going to do this. Thing's like, it is vulnerable to like run a game and get up there and like, I'll pretend to be 30 dudes in a trench coat. Like, and I'm like, I'm not doing that with your crazy ass. Like, you got me fucked up. No.
Yeah. I think
that
you.
If I'm doing that, and you're like, that's not the right accent. I'm like, I'll kill
Yeah,
you
go
with a
fuck
knife.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's stupid.
I got several heavy metal dice that will find their way across this table at most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have a big chonky.
I think that like the best thing that for me when I'm trying to come up with like the way a character talks, it's not always, like I said, it's not always an accent thing. A lot of times it's a cadence thing. And it will be like in my natural registry, which is like just low.
You do have a
most
very
of the
nice,
times.
deep, low
You do.
voice. Just naturally.
you.
Like, sometimes when we playing games, something I'm like, Jesus, all
Mariah and
right.
I were both like, hey, yo, and like gotta take fucking headphones
We're like
off
playing
and put them
Repo the
back.
other day, and I was like, why am I running into the wall? Oh my gosh. Like, okay, turn it around. I've broken my face. I was startled.
So like a side note is I never thought that way about my voice for the longest time until I started playing digital TTRPGs,
Yeah.
where I met everyone is an audiophile. Every fucking
Yeah.
person that I've met is just like, God damn.
The title is
the voice.
bestowed on you. You can't give it to yourself. It has to
I
be.
know.
It has to
freely
be
I'm
given
like, oh.
upon you by others. So, yep.
So I never thought of my voice in that way until literally in the last couple years, where I'm like, well, maybe I got a cool voice.
Maybe I got a little
You
something.
100%. 100%. And if you need more gassing up, we will continue to do so.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know how to take compliments, so
Well, you go take
You should work on it. Because I used to
I'm-
not either. And I'm much better than I used to be.
I go to therapy, so you know.
Incredible. There we
I
go.
do work on it.
That's all anyone can ask.
The one thing that I always like, I have like a dream in my heart one day to find somebody like for our home games that I trust enough with like all of my plotting and my scheming. And maybe not for every session, but for some sessions in particular, especially like big ones, I would love to have like a man with a really nice voice, like a range that I like. And I just want them to be at that table, and I want them to play my male characters, and I play all the female NPCs. And then
I feel that
gives that like back and forth dynamic to it. And like also I just love the organicness of that too. Because
Yeah, I do too.
like give them enough information that they know where I want the plot to go and like what my characters have done or whatever. And then like if we just start rolling, then cool. Like that I would love. I would love to have that.
So like you can be in the scene, because I've had that thought too for some of like the big climactic things for VTM that are like so far down the road it's not even funny. But I'm like that would be really, really fun to have like that co-DM person almost, so you can be in scene too.
Yeah.
Because you are, but you're not really when you're talking to yourself as NPCs. Like it's still fun because like I will do the thing. Sometimes I'll role play like a writer, which I also am. So like I'll add in little tidbits and other things that I think just like add a little bit of significance or like clues if someone's following it. But I'm not in scene the way I am if I'm role playing with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're performing alone.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
at that point, and
puppeteering,
it's
so my headspace
it's a
has
different
to be above it instead of in it.
Exactly. Like it's not so much that you're immersed anymore. It's that you are telling the story is what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you have to be a little less immersed in order to do that. And that is hard.
Yeah.
You know.
Or
So
like
I agree with you. I like having people play the other people.
yeah. And like I have like an image in my head of like I would love to be like narrating a scene, and as I'm narrating, like they walk in as like the fucking villain, it like reveal whatever the fuck, you know? So like instead of me having to break pace to do it.
Like how like Critical Role or Dimension 20 does when they bring on guests.
Yeah.
And they just like they come in, everybody's like, new person.
Yeah. Like I want
that would be fun.
That's what I want.
Yeah,
that would
truly
be really cool.
like the most like unachievable and elite version of it is to basically just turn it into LARP, where everyone gets a character.
Everyone comes in for a house party, but I just have character sheets.
It's a house party, but you have to do a very specific thing while you're there.
Yeah. And then I section people off into separate rooms where I've given them a very small TED talk to get them caught up on what they need to know.
Yeah.
And then we are like, okay, and go.
Yeah.
God,
well, if you ever want any help with that, I would be happy to do something like that. That would be fun as shit.
It would be okay.
So-
It would be dope. An idea, a concept, a dream, a manifestation, if you will. On one of like the cons that we go to, like if enough people are going, and just like after the con, everybody just gets characters, and it's just like a house party LARP situation.
Yes.
Let's do it at PAX U. Are y'all going to PAX U?
I
want to.
I want to.
We
in my
want to.
heart so bad. If I can
Well,
swing it, I will be.
I'll definitely be there. And I know that with me, it'll be me, Aaron, and a lot of people that we know will be there.
Do we want to do
So-
vampires?
We could do vampires.
Vampires is my favorite right now.
We could
It has,
do vampires.
it has been
Vampires have
for
a
a
special
while.
place in my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do a little Camarilla house party. Because I
down.
think everyone we know has done vampires.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually, the last PAX, we did a vampire photo shoot for our characters for
God,
Philly
they
by
were
Night.
those photos were so good.
Oh, did you see them?
Yes. I was
I-
stalking that shit. I was like, give it to me now. Everyone looks
Yeah,
so
that
hot.
shit
It
If
was
there's
great.
BTM content on the internet, you can guarantee one thing, and that's Mariah.
Yeah. All of it crosses my desk.
I sign off on everything.
Yeah, that was really fun. That was a lot more people were supposed to show up to that, and I guess everyone kind of got caught up in PAX, which is understandable.
There's
There's
a
a
lot
lot
going
going
on,
on.
Yeah. Because, like, Ollie and I have talked about the last time, or, like, after, because we've been to PAX once, obviously, but, like, it would be cool to, like, have another, like, day or two just in Philly. One, to, like, decompress a little bit from the con, and also just to, like, hang out in the city or, like, see people if other people are staying or whatever.
Yeah,
I would
actually,
be
like
hella down.
casually go out and eat
Yeah,
and hang
Good
out.
vibe.
Yeah, because like Philly's a
Mm.
super cool city, and like after the last time, Ollie and I just took like a trip to Boston because like I've been to Boston a couple times for work and I like it. So we're like, oh, let's just go. We'll spend a night up there in like a nice hotel and then fly home. Which that was fun, but it wasn't really like decompression time because we didn't have to get up hella early and like almost got on the wrong train, and that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Ollie did like bodily throw me onto an Amtrak train. It was a time.
I threw her and all our luggage onto that damn train and like slid in like Indiana Jones as that bitch peeled out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
It was bad.
I think that I definitely would have wanted at least an extra day
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
we
because yeah. Go
we
ahead.
went Sunday and it was great and everything, and then we had Monday to decompress, and I
Mhm.
left Monday afternoon, and I was like, all I could think the whole time was like, I wish I could have just hung out all day
Yeah.
Monday and not been like stressed out about anything.
Yeah, because we didn't get to really do anything like Philly related. Like we went and got cheesesteaks, which like God, I think about the cheesesteaks and I think about those oysters from the place by the convention center and that crepe place and the Peking duck.
And the Peking
place.
duck.
Yeah, so like we got to eat some good
I
food.
heard so many people talk about the Peking duck, and I never went and got food from
We
there.
did that
but
for like dinner for our last night, and it was very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't really get to like do any other Philly things except like go eat cheesesteak.
we went to a place that had the cheesesteaks, and I got chicken parmesan instead.
Hey,
Hey,
So
everyone can be a little sacrilegious once it's spiced.
yeah,
It's allowed.
chicken parmesan is what I use to judge a place. I judge them by how well they do chicken parmesan.
That's a
Why
hot
is
Okay.
that
but
your
I'll
why is
allow
that
it.
your standard setting dish? Is it because it's difficult, or is it because you think if they're a good place, they should be able to do it right?
It's just my favorite. I love chicken
Fair enough.
parmesan. Whether it's a sandwich or it's the pasta, it's my favorite.
I do. I think I prefer the sandwiches are also good, but I think I prefer the pasta just for the texture difference because like it's carbs all the way down, right? With
Yeah.
like some chicken
Yeah.
and the spirit of a tomato. But the bread and the breading is I'm like, this is good, but this is very bread forward. I'm crucially aware of how much bread I'm consuming. Whereas like I can lie to myself if it's the pasta and I'm like, they're different. They aren't.
Okay, I
You should
have a question, and you don't have to
Please.
do this, but to put you on the spot, what is your favorite like in character voice to do, and can we have a sample?
My favorite in character voice to do.
Yes.
Ooh.
Is it a selfish request by me? Maybe, but we're gonna glaze past.
No.
I mean, I wanted to do it, like, be like, can we hear the voice a couple times? And I'm like, I got it. You got to wait a bit to pull that out. We got to get comfy.
It is Artem. Artem is a comfortable voice for me. I need something to say though. Give me a line. Give me something.
Give you a line. I got you. Hold on. Because I think I even have a section in my DM shit called villain lines. Yep. Hold on. I'm gonna send you something.
Where did you get this collection of villain lines?
Don't worry about why your DM have villain lines collected.
I come up with lines as well. So
I do too sometimes. And sometimes I write them down, sometimes I don't, which I need to probably write them down more.
Is it this TikTok that you sent me?
Yeah. If memory serves, it should have like the lines.
Oh, those are good. I do be saving those like villain monologue TikToks. Those do slap. Or the ones where it's like you do the voice. Like
it just took me to TikTok.
Hold on. Do the thing. Nope, it's just taking me to TikTok. That's so rude. Hold on. I have another one. Let's see if that one works.
What is Artem's deal? Like, what is something that Artem would say? Like, what? I know he's your Philly by Night character, but like, is it a campaign? Like, is it?
He is Anarch.
Okay.
And he is a gangrel. He's basically supposed to be the kind of the boogeyman of. They call him the boogeyman of Krasnoyarsk.
Hot.
And that is where he's from.
He and Revno would probably get along.
Do what?
He and Galli's character Revno would probably get along because she's canonically responsible for Roanoke in our universe.
All right, let's see. Some lines are weird because of the way that I talk as him. I can't hit every word. It's weird. My name is Artem Morozov. Morozov, frozen, the undying. There is no redemption in the frost, only the truth of who you are when the warmth is gone. I haven't done them in a long time, my goodness.
Incredible.
Yeah.
But
incredible.
I can fix him.
That was just reading a line.
Or make him worse. It's fine.
I am supposed to be doing a character with another campaign. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about what it is yet or anything. But it is with someone that you know. I'll tell you outside the podcast because again, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this. But the character is like a jolly Artem, kind of.
Oh.
And his name is Bog, and he has a pet owl bear named Gob.
Yeah.
And I kind of based the character off of when I was younger, I was really into watching the strongman competitions whenever it was like just guys like fucking picking up cars and shit.
Yeah.
And I watched this documentary that followed 4 of the main competitors, and it introduces like all of them one by one. Each of them have like.
Wait,
10
I know
minutes.
exactly what you're talking about.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one who's like in fucking Alaska or Nebraska, and he's just got his own little gem, and he's just a.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, I don't.
Zadrunas. Yeah. I love. So it makes me laugh so hard whenever I watch that, because it was like Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall and Hafthor Bjornsson, all of like these super big competitors, and they have these big fancy gems and people cheering them on. And then finally, it introduces Zadrunas in Lithuania, and it pans over to like this dilapidated gym, and there's no lights on in the gym.
4 walls and
no light.
There's no lights. Whatever. I don't know if they did it for dramatic effect, but there's no lights, and there's just one giant dude in there. He's like 50. And he's just picking shit up. Like he's not even,
shit from about town he's collected.
And he does this
Somebody's
spiel.
like, hey, we got a big rock. Can you come get it? And he's like, yes, I can.
He's all about it. But he does this spiel where, like, they ask him, they're like, "Oh, why don't you work out? Like, why don't you work out and like you can afford to work out in like these bigger gyms and everything?"
Mhm.
And he was like, I don't remember exactly what he says, but it was essentially like, when you work out with other people, there is energy. There is all this energy, and your body feeds off that energy. Zydrunas works out alone, so he gets stronger alone. So when competition comes, Zydrunas knows he will win. It's like, God, that's a fucking, that dude rules.
Like kind of the hardest thing. You're in like in a dark gym in Lithuania, just saying the hardest shit.
Yeah.
You're like, all right.
It's like, that goes hard. And you know what?
Also, like,
he
the
won.
scariest little old man
Yeah.
that ever existed.
And I based that character off of him and a jolly version of Artem. That's what I got. And so I basically, that voice that I just did is what I used. Bob,
like a less traumatized Artem.
He will win. Gob is my favorite. He's my best friend. You know, like that's
so cute. I love that.
We need to play at more tables.
I would love to. I haven't played at a table with you, have I?
I don't know.
We should.
I didn't think so. I feel bad because sometimes there are times where like I'll meet someone and I'll be like, man, we should play at a game. And they'll be like, we have. I'm like,
I have a feeling we played at one table, but I don't think Mariah was in it.
I definitely have not played with you. Yeah, I've actually not even played at a table with Aaron, which feels a little crazy, but we have.
I know for sure I played one game with you because I found out after that you were Aaron's partner. And I was like, oh shit.
Was it VTM?
Maybe.
Did you guess on Philly by Night?
You did guess on
I
Philly
did guess
by
on
Night.
VTM.
So that was probably it, yeah.
I bet that was.
That's probably it, yeah.
I bet that's where it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
But we need to play more.
We do. I say that to so many people. Yeah. We all need to play a lot more.
Yes.
Incredible.
I love it.
Hell yeah. Well, it does look like we are coming up on time though. But thank you so much for joining us. This has been such a joy.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
This was so much more relaxed than I expected to be.
So
we just sort of rock up
in a trench coat
and let what happens happen. It's fine.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Plug away one more time and show our listeners where they could find you and any upcoming projects that you want to draw.
Hey everyone. Again, I am Chris Sanders. I don't care if you look me up. There are like 3 famous Christopher Sanders. The guy who drew Lilo and Stitch, a football player, and I think something else. So good luck finding me. You can find me at Tendtomyflames everywhere on all social medias, except for Twitch. I'm Vindorsa over there. I do a podcast called The Voice Boys with ADH Druids. I am recording the second chronicle of Chronicles of Kriath with Tabletop Tale Spinners. The release date TBD. And hopefully real soon you're going to be seeing me as Artem Morozov in Philly by Night again soon. I hope. That is everything that I can think of that I'm allowed to talk about. So,
but I do not have an NDA.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. And we will see y'all next time. Bye.
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 Table Talk is a podcast brought to you by Mythos Media Productions, bringing you a new episode every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcast. Find us on Instagram and TikTok at TableTalkRPG, or check us out at our website, mythosmediaproductions.godaddyscites.com. All business inquiries can reach out to us via email at info@mythosmediaproductions.com.